in Miami. A Friday night, a baseball night. Marlins Park, roof closed, folks coming in. Game 2 of a 4-game series. Marlins and Giants. Last night's ball game got away from the Fish. The Giants capturing Game 1. Marlins try to even the series. And a pair of aces who don't have records to match their pedigree meet in this one. Logan Morrison, Ozzie Guillen, and the Marlins hoping that Josh Johnson snaps back to form. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. Last night was a tight 1-1 ball game, and then all of a sudden, the Marlins didn't get it out at third, and then it was on, and it was a mess of runs from that point on.
Well, it was an absolute mess, especially the last 3 innings. We thought it'd be a close ball game, and what do we know? 14-7 was the final.
So who knows what to expect from this one, because both Tim Lincecum and Josh Johnson don't have records that meet their history. However, Josh Johnson, the Marlins have seen over this last 3 starts, has pitched very well.
JJ has really started to put it together. If you look at his first 6 starts, 0-3 with an ERA of 6.61. The last 3, he's gone 2-0, and that ERA is Josh Johnson-like at 2.14. I think what we're seeing is a big pitcher who is starting to regain the strength that he once had in that shoulder. We saw the velocity go up in each of the last 3 starts, and he was throwing mid-90s in his last outing. Tim Lincecum, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, in 6 of his 9 starts this year, he's given up 4 or more runs. And so that's been a problem for him, even though he has a lot more strikeouts than innings pitched.
So it'll be interesting to see which one of these aces looks like an ace tonight. Miami, San Francisco. Josh Johnson, when we get back, we'll talk about tonight's start, about his season so far, as the Marlins get set to take on the Giants. Center field. Greg Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Thank you, Rich. Good evening again, everybody. Josh Johnson, will go for his third straight win. He's starting to look like the old JJ. What do you like about him of late?
The JJ of old, 7 innings the last 3 starts, about a 2 ERA, and what you like about it, his velocity starting to tick up every start. Last start he was in the mid-90s late in the game, which is great. And his location, like he said earlier, location is the main thing that he's been doing very well lately. Spotting his fastball, his curve's been extremely effective, and I mean, that's JJ.
You set it up. Here's what he had to say about what's working for him.
Location of pitches, mostly. That's a big part. It's a big part for me. I've always been a fastball. I can, locate it very well, and then slider I can locate it well. But this year, to start out the season, it was kind of backwards. But it's definitely took a step in the right direction.
Seems like you've been sneaking the curve in a little every now and then.
Yeah, that's been my best pitch the last 3 starts. Overall. So I could throw that almost any time I wanted to for a strike or 2 strikes. Before it was more of a first pitch thing just to get it over. Sorry, and then now I can throw it at any time.
With the curveball working as well as it is right now, when he gets his other 2 pitches back, now he's got 3 pitches the hitter's going to have to worry about.
Not fun if you're facing a JJ who's on. Roster move after we left you last night. Not a big surprise. Unfortunately, Mike Dunn has not done well here, so the Marlins are hoping he can go back to AAA and get his game back. In the meantime, Dan Jennings really earning this promotion, Jeff.
Yeah, outstanding numbers in AAA this year. You see the .95 ERA. The main reason they want Dan Jennings up here is to take some pressure off of Randy Choate. Randy Choate has been the guy to come in late in ball games and getting those lefties out, so he's getting worn out. He was pitching a lot of innings, a lot of appearances early in this season, so hopefully Dan Jennings can take some of that pressure off.
All right, we'll see if the lefty can do it. We've got baseball coming up. Great matchup, Game 2 of this 4-game series. Holiday weekend. Josh Johnson, Tim Lincecum. Good crowd coming out. Should be a great atmosphere for Friday night baseball in South Florida. And Rich and Tommy will have the call for you next.
Marlins Park on a Friday night, and a pair of aces on the mound. Josh Johnson, Tim Lincecum, the Giants. come to the plate this way. Hey, the Giants are hot. They've won 9 of their last 13. 24 and 21 is Bruce Bochy's bunch. Gregor Blanco's in right. Brandon Crawford at short. Melky Cabrera, no one can get him out. The Marlins certainly couldn't last night. Buster Posey in the cleanup spot. Angel Pagan is hot. He hurt the fish last night. Aubrey Huff, the former Hurricane, trying to get back into the swing of things. Joaquin Arias is at third base. The Riot is at second. Ryan Theriot hits 8th, and Lincecum will hit 9th.
With J.J. Rich looking at that lineup, you want to make sure guys like Cabrera and Pagan and Posey, the hot hitters, you have to make sure they don't hurt you. But J.J.'s throwing the ball extremely well. We've talked about the way he pitched his last time out in Cleveland, picking up his 50th career win. The fastball was there, curves, changeups. He had it working, and he's made progress all of his last 3 starts.
This start comes against a team that he has not beaten. Pinch a Penny brings you the first pitch, and a bunt attempt is popped foul and out of play. Josh Johnson makes his 6th career start against San Francisco, and he's 0-3, yet his ERA is a respectable 3.18. Gregor Blanco was busy last night, and the Giants, especially from the 6th inning on, just pounded the fish. 11 runs from the 6th inning on for the Giants last night. We'll see if that continues here tonight. JJ out in front. The count's 0-2.
Yeah, I'm sure Bruce Bochy was happy with his offense, the way they just continued to keep putting pressure on and scoring runs.
Blanco, a guy that was in AAA last year. The 0-2. Pulls that breaking ball foul. Stays at 0-2. The Giants have kind of patched things together. Pablo Sandoval, one of their big offensive pieces, coming back from hamate bone surgery in his hand. He had the same surgery last year in his right hand. This year it's left hand. They hope he's back in a couple of weeks. And J.J. buries an off-speed pitch down low, 1-2. As Tommy pointed out, last 3 starts real good, 2-0, just 5 earned runs in those 3 starts. His latest was in Cleveland, and the best of the 3. 7 innings, a run on 5 hits. 1-2 pitch coming. He's been feeding Blanco sliders here. The count stays at 1-2.
You know, the interesting thing about Josh's changeup, I talked to him after the game in Cleveland. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish whether it's his two-seamer or his changeup, because at times his changeup is 87 and 88 miles an hour.
John Buck back behind the plate for this JJ start, and he misses outside. Mike Winters is calling balls and strikes tonight, with Mark Wegner at first, Mike Milchinski out at second, and Wally Bell occupying third. There's a look at Winters. Here's the 2-2 coming. That actually looked like the changeup because it dove down low at 89.
Had a little movement, and you're probably right. So some scouts will tell you they'd like to see a little more separation between fastball and changeup.
Right center. That's Peterson out there tonight. And Brian runs it down for the first out of the first inning.
Let's check on that defense. Good play by Brian Peterson in center. Coughlin in left, Stanton in right. The left side looks the same. Infante and Logan Morrison. John Buck behind the plate. What I mean by separation is if the fastball's 95, you'd like to see the changeup 86, 87, 85, maybe 8 to 10 miles an hour.
Brendan Crawford now, Giant shortstop, and he takes outside. Crawford in last night's ball game was 1 for 4. You go up and down the Giants lineup, and everybody had a hand in it. Crawford drove in 2 with a double.
The curveball. You like to see Josh break a few pitches out in that first inning. He has Crawford fooled on that curveball.
Rolled into left field for a base hit. Crawford goes the other way, and the Giant shortstop is at first. And here comes the red hot Melky Cabrera. Now, the Marlins couldn't get him out last night, but they have company. Cabrera has 67 hits, and 40 have come this month in just 22 games. So the 67 hits is the most in baseball. It's 3 more than Derek Jeter.
He's had kind of an interesting path. He was a mainstay in the Yankees lineup 4 years with the Yankees. Went on to Atlanta and hit just .255 with the Braves in 2010. Then put it all together last year with Kansas City.
He has been very much a godsend for the Giants. In the absence of Pablo Sandoval, they've been looking for a spark. And Cabrera, especially in that ballpark, is perfect. Sprays the ball to all fields. He's got speed in the outfield, which you need there. To left, Coughlin, right in his tracks, makes the catch, and J.J. gets Cabrera out.
And he's a switch hitter, as is Angel Pagan. So back-to-back pinch hitter or switch hitters in that lineup for Bochy.
Buster Posey now. The Giant catcher was 2 for 4 last night. He hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats against Josh Johnson, just 1 for 4 in his career.
The other thing, Rich, about JJ, in his last 4 starts, the Marlins have gone 4-0.
Crawford back with a head-first dive. Giants, as a team, have swiped 30 bases. Crawford himself is 0 for 2 this year. Giants ran last night, though. Blanco stole a bag. Melky Cabrera stole a bag. Emmanuel Burris at the bottom of the order stole a bag. And a couple of those stolen bases was before the deluge, so to speak.
Jackson Brown.
He showed up in the 6th when the Giants got 4 runs in the top of the 6th.
I think both teams have shown that they will run. Now, Ozzie has stated that even with Bonifacio on the disabled list, he's going to keep running.
Last night's game, a great example of, in the big leagues, if you give a team an extra out in an inning, bad things can happen, and the Marlins certainly did that. The rundown play that they failed to execute with 1 out, and Gregor Blanco at third base. Anibal Sanchez knocked down a Melky Cabrera smash, and Brett Hayes' throw to third was late in that rundown. He held it too long. Marlins didn't get that out. It would have been the 2nd out of the inning. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. And from that point forward, Tommy, it got messy. The Giants with the 4 runs in that inning, 3 more in the 7th, 4 more in the 8th. Who knows what the game would have been like had they had that out at third base. It might have still been a 1-1 game into the 8th to the 9th.
It is funny how things go that way.
Runner goes on the 1-2, and Posey pokes it foul, because once the game gets out of hand, the selection of managers' bullpen changes. If it's 1-1 and it's the 7th or the 8th, Ozzie Guillen's going to use different relievers than he would if he's down 5 or 6-1. Good battle here.
All JJ's doing is trying to keep Crawford close. If he takes off, to try to help his catcher and allow John Buck to throw him out.
Fastball, Buck held it. Posey took it. It's 2-2. Here's a look.
I'm going to try to figure out where this is. Higher than I thought on Fox Tracks.
It's a ball that as a hitter you don't want called a strike, but as a pitcher you want that call. You need that call. 2-2 is outside. And now the count is full. That means Brandon Crawford will be on the way from first. Angel Pagan on deck. Johnson set. Crawford's running. Posey fights off a breaking ball. One thing the Giants have accomplished here is they've pushed the pitch count up already over 20.
That's why Posey is such a good hitter. He'll foul that tough pitch off. That was a good pitch by JJ, good slider. And Posey knew it wasn't a great pitch to put in play. He just fouled it off to stay alive.
Three-two. Towards the line. Stanton is over at the wall. He leaps and got it. Up against the wall, Giancarlo Stanton stretched that 6'5" frame up and picks it off the wall. To the bottom of the first, scoreless. Come the fish. Jose Reyes leads it off. He's been hot. So has Omar Infante. Hanley's been hitting well. Giancarlo Stanton had another big night last night. Marlins would like to see Logan Morrison get going, Brian Peterson get going, John Buck get going, Chris Coughlin get going. Josh Johnson hits ninth, and then not an easy guy to get going against tonight.
Yeah, you're talking about a two-time Cy Young Award winner in 08 and 09, the diminutive one, 5'11", 160. Tim Lincecum, he's had some issues this year, but you know, you look at the line, 53 strikeouts in 47 and a third innings. He's doing something right, but he's been hurt by the big inning. That's been one of his problems. Maybe a little lack of concentration at times, maybe some mistakes in key situations.
Reyes takes a fastball for a strike, and maybe a little bit of a drop in velocity as well. That fastball at 93. I think both of these pitchers are facing that this year. Pitching rather than 95, 96. Reyes lines it into left field. That's a base hit. Both these guys are figuring out how to pitch at 93, 94.
When in fact, that's pretty good for Lincecum. He's been pitching 88 to 90. But see, middle of the plate, that's been one of his problems, and Reyes right on it with a solid swing.
So Reyes now 10 for his last 23, and he's at first. 13 stolen bases this year, and you got Infante up, and all he did last night was bang out 4 hits in his last 4 at bats. His average now at 340. Lincecum from the stretch. He It can take a while to get to home plate as Infante fouls it off.
Well, he has that unique delivery. Some question it at times, but it's a delivery he's had since he was in Little League.
Engineered by Boeing.
Yes.
His father, an engineer and a pitcher, an engineer at Boeing. He grew up in Renton, Washington. That's the suburb that houses the big Boeing plant up in the Seattle area. That's where Lincecum grew up. Runner goes. Foul ball. Very close.
Wow, not by much, but third base umpire Wally Bell right there to see it. Pretty good jump by Reyes, too. There's another look, and it's foul. Hey, the guy has the best looks, Wally Bell.
So Lincecum now is 0-2 on Infante. Aubrey Huff holding Reyes at first. Infante left center field. It's hit well and caught there by Angel Pagan, who has good closing speed in the gaps.
Well, Pagan, a real nice fit for AT&T Park with his speed. Same thing here. Here's a look at the rest of that defense for the Giants. Melky Cabrera, Pagan you've seen, and Gregor Blanco, Joaquin Arias, Brandon Crawford, Terrio and Huff on the right side. A little different look on the right side tonight for the Giants. And Buster Posey behind the plate. Last night we saw Burris and Belt on the right side.
Hanley climbs in. Hanley last night fouled the pitch off his back knee and was in a lot of pain, but stayed in the ball game. And as Tommy pointed out, it showed a lot of guts because the Marlins don't have much on their bench right now. Not a lot of pop, just a lot of inexperience.
One small maneuver tonight with Greg Dobbs not starting. He's at least on that bench to help out a little bit.
Let's see if Reyes is running here early. He is. Got a great jump. Posey has no shot. And Reyes swipes the bag. It's one of the areas that teams have been able to get to Lincecum a bit. And obviously when you win a couple Cy Youngs, it's a small part, but teams have been able to run against him if they can get on.
Kind of like Greg Maddux. When Maddux was winning Cy Youngs, he won 4 straight. He was always a guy that you could run against. The key was trying to get on base. And also on that pitch, Hanley took it all the way. It was a pretty good pitch to hit, but he knew that Reyes got a big jump, and he took it for strike 1.
Runners this year are 4 of 4 against Lincecum. They stole 23 bags against him last year. 0-1 coming. And the breaking ball misses outside. Hanley and Lincecum teammates in the National League All-Star team. Lincecum has been on 4 All-Star teams. His Cy Youngs came in 2008 and 2009.
Aha. He stepped off, and Reyes was thinking about going to third. So Lincecum stepped off at the right time.
Lincecum, like just about all Giant starters over the last 3-4 years, does not get a whole lot of run support. Which is reflected in the year he had last year. He made 33 starts. He's always been durable. He's not missed a start. Hasn't been a DL guy. But look at the run support this year. Last year his ERA was 2.74, but his record was under 500, 13 and 14.
He had the Matt Cain disease last year.
Fastball misses up. So if you take 2008 through 11, look at the ERA, and the jump obviously dramatic. The strikeouts per 9 innings, exactly the same.
It's the same. He's had 4 straight years, 13 or more wins, 32 starts, 200 innings pitched, and 220 or more strikeouts. 4 straight years.
Reyes has a good lead. And Lincecum misses up and into Hanley, and it's 3-1.
So for one who many will try to make the statement that he's too small to pitch and that he's going to break down, you just said it. He hasn't missed a start, and he's been durable.
And there were many teams that looked past him when he was drafted in the first round by the Giants because of that. Here's the 3-1. Hanley swings and misses, and the count is 3-2. He had a stretch similar to this in August of 2010. He was 0-5, and his ERA was close to 8. And everyone thought the sky was falling. And all Lincecum did in September was go 5-1 with an ERA of under 2, and then he dazzled in the postseason and led the Giants to the World Series championship, beating Cliff Lee twice in the World Series.
Yeah, it's just like a hitter who can have that 15 for 100 and hide it in the middle of the season compared to starting the season 15 for 100, 150 batting average.
There's his postseason numbers. 4-1 in that 2010 postseason. Hanley hits a high fly ball. Cabrera calling for it. Makes the catch. Now, the last time that Lincecum started was against Oakland in San Francisco. He lasted just 4 innings. He had a scary play at the plate. Watch this. There's a runner at second here. And all the way from second, Lincecum got bowled over. He sprained his left thumb.
He took a shot, it looked like in the head on the slide, the hard slide, the left thumb, his glove hand. So he's, as you said, durable. He's a good athlete, a terrific athlete.
Colin Cowgill of Oakland with that slide. And here is Stanton now into the 4 spot. A fly ball towards the right field line. Blanco is there. Giants have a lot of speed and mobility in the outfield, and Blanco runs it down. Fish leave a runner. Scoreless, headed to the second. H. Gregg. Roof is closed. Game is on. Josh Johnson, and his first pitch to Angel Pagan is a strike. Coventry Healthcare, second inning. Both teams had a base hit in the first. Brandon Crawford had the Giants hit. It's Pagan, then Aubrey Huff, and Joaquin Arias for the Giants. 9 of 13 the Giants have won. They're doing it without Pablo Sandoval.
A couple of hitters in that first inning. Gregor Blanco and Buster Posey each saw 8 pitches. So 16 of those pitches to those 2 hitters.
Pagan drops one into left field, and the Giants just keep hitting. Pagan had 2 hits last night. If he's aboard, here comes Aubrey Huff. This is a 4-game series which ends on Sunday, and on Monday the Nationals are here. It's a Memorial Day edition of an Outback Military Monday at 1:10. Wednesday, fans get an Emilio Bonifacio t-shirt courtesy of Leon Medical Centers, 1877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com.
So we'll have just a reminder to all of our viewers and Marlins fans, 4 o'clock start tomorrow, 3:30 for Marlins on deck. And then 1 o'clock Sunday game, 1 o'clock Monday game, Memorial Day.
3 straight day games, so to speak. Huff takes a strike, and the former Miami Star certainly at a crossroads in his career right now. A guy that in the World Series year of 2010 contributed both on and off the field. His magical red thong in the clubhouse was quite a rallying point. But the magic has run out. Last year, not the best of years, and this year, a slow start. And he went on the disabled list with anxiety. Is back, and the Giants are hoping that there's some life left, not only in the thong, but also in his bat.
Well, he's had a little success against Josh Johnson. 5 for 11 against JJ.
Huff got significant MVP votes in that 2010 season when he hit 290, 26 homers, 86 driven in, had 35 doubles.
Had an on-base percentage of .385 that year.
Pagan leaning at first. When we were in San Francisco, we saw Pagan, and he has that lead in which, as he comes to a stop on the lead, it looks like he's leaning and almost in a starting block, ready to break towards second. He has 8 stolen bases, good base runner. He's only been caught once.
Right now, the base runners seem to really be a concern for Josh Johnson. A lot of throws over to first base.
Huff with a high fly ball to right. Stanton is back at the wall. He leaps, and it's off his glove and off the wall. He picks it up. Huff will stop at first. The throw comes into second. Stanton got to the wall. It looked like he had it timed, but as he jumped, the ball either hit his glove or hit the wall. Let's take a look.
Looked like he timed it pretty well and timed the leap, but didn't really come close to it. I'm not even sure if it catches his glove. Let's see. There's the time. There's the leap, just off the end of the glove. And I'm thinking Huff may have thought it was out because he's only at first base.
Pagan was well around second by the time it hit the wall. Stanton did a nice job to get it back in. But as it is now, Johnson first and third and nobody out. And the Giants have an opportunity. Infante to Reyes, that'll score the run. The Marlins get the double play. The Giants get the run. And so San Francisco is on the board first as Joaquin Arias bounces out.
Well, a good job to induce that double play grounder and get 2 quick outs just like that. Early in a game, you'll you give a run for those 2 quick outs.
Ryan Theriot. Theriot takes a strike. Theriot's buddy Mike Fontenot has surfaced with the Phillies.
Getting a little playing time.
Of course, they were together as the double play combination for 5 years with the Cubs. Bouncer up the middle. Infante backhands and then stumbles, and Theriot has enough speed that there's no way Infante's going to get him. That'll go as a base hit.
Yeah, that would have taken an exceptional effort. Had Infante been able to stay on his feet, he would have had to plant. That's what he was trying to do right here. Plant that foot, and a little stumble, and just couldn't stay aground.
So Theriot's at first, and here is Lincecum. And JJ misses away. You were talking about the type of athlete that he is. He's one of those guys that can do all kinds of tricks. Extremely strong with his hands. He can walk on his hands.
Hasn't he done that like from home plate out to the outfield?
Yes.
Extremely flexible. That's why he can get by with the delivery that he has.
Soft ground ball. Reyes flips. Infante is there. San Francisco gets a run. And it's 1-0 Giants.
Sentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Friday night in Miami, Giants and Marlins, game 2 of a 4-game series. 4:10 start tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Sunday. Logan Morrison, Brian Peterson, John Buck against Tim Lincecum in the bottom of the second. And the Giants have provided Lincecum with a 1-0 lead. And his breaking ball misses up. It is 1-0. The Giants, after that first pitch, have shifted over to the right side against Logan Morrison.
Well, they put on the Maniacta Cleveland shift.
And it, they didn't do it after the first pitch. It was almost like they realized, hey, that's Morrison.
And this is similar with the second baseman Theriot well into right field.
Of course, they may have waited till after the first pitch just for dramatic effect to try to get into Morrison's head.
All of a sudden, it's gotten into Lincecum's head. He can't throw a strike. It's 3-0.
If you didn't watch any of the games in Cleveland, Manny Acta and the Indians had Jason Kipnis, their second baseman, out where Ryan Theriot is now. Theriot, the second baseman, is out in shallow right field. Morrison hit 5 ground balls to Kipnis in the series. And on his last at bat of the series, he finally took a pitch and doubled off the wall. There's the shift in Cleveland. And we could just show this about 5 times and it would
it really got into his head. And you're right. The last time up, he crossed things up and stayed back and did what he wished he could have done the whole series. But the hits have been few and far between, just 2 for his last 31. But a good AB to draw that leadoff walk.
Peterson digs in, and Lincecum throws a strike. Brian Peterson getting the start. Now, Petey has swung the bat a little bit better as of late, but his average still down there at 179. That's a 5 for 28 that he's got right now.
Well, you can talk about adding to the club, doing this, doing that. The bottom line, when you look at Lomo, Peterson, Buck at 173, Coghlan at 106, if those guys, maybe not even all of them, if a couple of those guys step it up, now you don't start looking elsewhere to add. And that's what the hope is.
Because if it continues at this point, the Marlins have no choice but to look elsewhere.
Got to do something, yeah,
for help in the bottom of the order. Morrison's at first, 0-2 coming. And Morrison's running on a pitch in the dirt, and he's out by a bunch. I know it's good to anticipate, but you also have to make sure the ball gets away from the catcher, and it didn't from Posey.
Yeah, you want to see the ball that hits the dirt trickle away from the catcher, but Posey caught the ball. And no chance at all once Posey made his throw. It's one thing to anticipate. Yeah, you want to see that ball just get away from the catcher.
And Peterson goes around, and just like that, a promising start to the second.
Wow.
Fizzles, and here comes Buck with 2 outs and nobody on.
We haven't had a chance to look at the scouting report on the 27-year-old right-hander, Tim Lincecum. 89 and 92, we've seen a little better than that tonight. He'll use the split to righties and lefties. And with that delivery, he's very deceptive.
This breaking ball misses low to Buck. And for John, it's been a mighty struggle. His average has dipped to 173. 1 for his last 20 and 9 punch-outs in those 20 at-bats. Smokes it to the third baseman. Arias makes the catch, but maybe a sign of better things to come from John Buck. Brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Marlins Team Store. Now there's a team store that you can come down and any day of the week is open. And, of course, there's a team store inside the ballpark. The new gear is in. The new Memorial Day caps are in.
I've seen them. They are awesome looking.
So those are in. The new Adidas kids gear is in. A lot of the starter fleece and the warm-up coats that you see on the field are in the gift store as well. Say hi to Robin when you're in there. A lot of the crew apparently went in and did some damage, buying up a lot of the gear.
I think they said hi to Robin, too.
Buying a lot of the gear before the ball game. Second time through for the Giants against Josh Johnson. Gregor Blanco, Brandon Crawford, Melky Cabrera. Breaking ball from JJ misses out, and it's 1-0. Giants first time through had 4 hits, singles, and that's kind of been a repetitive theme against Johnson this year. Little looper, left field. That's going to fall. Base hit.
This has been a theme the first 2 games of this series. Pagan hadn't hit a ball hard yet. He has 3 hits. This ball just blooped by Blanco. And JJ making a good pitch, but it's amazing what things can happen when you make contact. And in this ballpark, I think we're going to see a lot of that with the outfield space and outfielders maybe having to play a little deeper. There's a lot of room.
Remember, JJ in his first few starts was just singled to death, including the opener of this ballpark. And the Cardinals had 10 hits, and his next start in Philadelphia, the Phillies had 11 hits. And I believe of his first 21 hits, 19 of them were singles. He gave up 9 runs combined in those first 2 starts, both losses. Marlins pitch out, and going nowhere is Blanco.
You know, Blanco with that base hit, he's been a pest against the Marlins. He's got over 60 at bats, and he's a .340 career hitter against the Marlins.
Crawford singled to left back in the first. He has a couple hits in the series. Giants are hot, no doubt about it. The Marlins got hot when they got to San Francisco and swept the Giants. That got the Marlins started on the big league's best May. They fish at 16-7. But the Giants have now won 9 of their last 13.
Yeah, the Marlins were 4-2 against the Giants last year. So far this year, 3-1.
Marlins swept the Giants in San Francisco last year as well. Don't know that I've ever seen Josh Johnson throw to first
Never
base
have.
as much as he has.
I know he's trying to keep the runners close, but you still, the bottom line, you still have to be quick to the plate. And you hate to see your infielders just wait and wait and wait.
He's given up 10 stolen bases already this year. And a liner to left, another base hit. The Giants now with 6 hits already against Josh Johnson. This season, Fox Sports is proud to support the Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Well, Blanco and Crawford are aboard, and now you get into the 3-4-5 of the Giants order. Melky Cabrera, Buster Posey, Angel Pagan, And right now, JJ isn't missing many bats.
When you look at tonight, the thing that pops up is location. The location isn't the best. He's made a few mistakes out over the plate.
His ball strike ratio not real good. 16 balls, 24 strikes on 40 pitches. And he's 2-0 against a guy that has more hits than anybody in baseball, Melky Cabrera. John Buck is out to talk to the Marlins right-hander, Randy St. Clair, watching.
Yeah, JJ's just thrown 5 of 12 first pitch strikes.
This is not the Josh Johnson the Marlins have seen in his last 3 starts, in which he won 2 of them, pitched into the 7th inning in all 3 of them, and gave up 2 earned runs or less in all 3. A strike.
Got a couple of guys in the ballpark. Melky Cabrera, Giancarlo Stanton, who will get a lot of votes for player of the month of May. Cabrera hitting over 420 in the month. Stanton with 9 home runs in the month of May.
2-2. Cabrera's not an easy guy to double up. And the Marlins are not holding Crawford at first, so he's going to get a head start at anybody trying to turn a double play. Soft liner to left. Coughlin's there, makes the catch, and holds on. That one hit right on the button, and here comes Posey. Now, Johnson earlier talked about his issues this year, and one of the things that he pointed to was location.
Location of pitches, mostly. That's a big part. It's a big part for me. I've always been a fastball. I can, locate it very well, and then slider I can locate it well. But this year, to start out the season, it was kind of backwards. But it's definitely took a step in the right direction.
And right now, the location not there for JJ.
And he's facing a guy that, if he doesn't have great location, can lose a baseball in a real hurry, and that's Buster Posey. Posey 8 doubles, 6 homers this year. His average over 300. A couple hits last night. 1-0, Giants on top. Giants got their run in the second. Couple base hits and a double play ground ball. Breaking ball, line center field. Peterson, good jump there. And the Giants have lined 2 balls to the outfield. Wow. For the 2 outs here in the third.
Yeah, not fooling any of the hitters right now. Those last 2 balls were stung by Cabrera, that one by Posey.
Well, he's got to get Pagan now, and Pagan's got 3 hits in 6 at-bats in this series.
And 6 career hits in 16 at-bats against Josh Johnson.
Saw a lot of them when Pagan was with the Mets. Pagan was kind of the guy that eased into Carlos Beltran's role in center field as Beltran's health deteriorated. But
I think he's
rejuvenated now.
He's regained a little of that right now, Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, well, maybe that that summer in San Francisco.
Leading the National League with 14 home runs, second in the National League with 38 RBIs. Ethier has 40.
Beltran would not agree with, was it Mark Twain that said the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco?
And the nicest weather in San Francisco is October, November.
Absolutely. When the 49ers are playing out at Candlestick. 1-0 pitch.
49ers probably never knew what the baseball players were complaining about.
That was the rumor that Horace Stoneham, the owner of the Giants, when looking for a place to build the park in San Francisco when the team moved west, they took him out to Candlestick Point on a sunny morning and said, "This is great. Let's build it here." Of course, he didn't go back at 6 or 7 o'clock when the wind was blowing and the temperatures felt like they were the 40s and the upper 30s. He fell back to the screen. It's 2-1.
Well, the next pitch will be number 50 for Josh, too. He's elevating that pitch count as well. Last time he faced the Giants was in 2010.
He made only the 9 starts last year. 2010, JJ led the National League in ERA. And a fastball at 93. That's one of the few fastballs that he's thrown by someone. 2-2.
That was the Cholula flamethrower. There it is.
Is there a special sign for that?
It always gets my taste buds going.
Two and two. Blanco at second, Crawford at first. Little pop that's going to end up in the seats. And it stays at 2-2, but the Giants continue to push that pitch count up. JJ gave up a couple of hits to open the inning, and then line drive outs to Cabrera and Posey. Two. Pagan keeps battling. So JJ is over 50 now. 52 on his pitch count. Lincecum has only pitched 2 innings, of course, but his pitch count is down at 24.
And getting a long rest here in the third.
Up the middle, into center field. That's a base hit. That'll score another run. Blanco comes in. The throw in time. The run counts. Brian Peterson throwing out the trail runner, Brandon Crawford. It was close, but it looked like Blanco had crossed as the tag was made. Sunday that finishes the series at 1:10. Arrive early for Snapshot Sunday. First 5,000 kids get a Mark Burley wall flag, courtesy of Stanley Tools. Kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. For tickets, 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com. Well, the Giants add a run. It's 2-0 now. First pitch hitting. Chris Coughlin lines one to left, and it's caught there by the charging Melky Cabrera. There's one out. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. As Josh Johnson comes up to hit. Josh, of course, throws right-handed, but bats lefty. It's uncommon for most that play baseball, so you ask why. Well, you got to remember where he grew up in Oklahoma in a very busy family. His little JJ, the youngest of 5 boys, and you kind of get caught up on the older kids, and when the next one comes along, it takes a little while to kind of concentrate on what he's doing. And the 4th oldest brother, named Tyler, was described by his father, Al, Josh's father, as a kid who didn't hit very well right-handed, so they turned him around lefty. It worked out. Tyler wound up hitting at the University of Oklahoma. So they told JJ, 5 kids playing baseball, just do what Tyler does. And they didn't even realize it until several games in. They kind of looked down one day and say, oh, JJ is batting lefty. And it stuck. He was a pretty good hitter. His high school coach thought he could even make it at the big league level as a hitter, but somewhere around his sophomore year, he started pitching in a playoff game right in the middle of the game, did well, and the rest is history. But that right arm does get exposed. That's the one negative for a pitcher batting lefty versus righty. Guys?
Thanks, Craig.
Somewhere around that sophomore year, he spurted from like 5'10" to 6'5", probably, too, at his current 6'7". You'll see some pitchers that expose that pitching arm wear the elbow pad
at times,
when they bat.
At times, JJ has.
Yeah. Marlins need a few breaks. That ball was hit well by Chris Coughlin. Nice play by Cabrera, who's doing everything in the month of May.
Yes, he is. Ground ball.
Even Aubrey Huff is getting in on the. You would not think this is the worst fielding club in baseball, the way they've played in the first 2 games of this series. The Giants have committed 47 errors. That's the worst in baseball.
Now, Lincecum's not missing a lot of bats either. We made that comment about Josh Johnson. JJ hasn't struck anyone out. This is the 2nd time through for the Marlins. Brian Peterson, the only guy that Lincecum struck out. And here's Reyes, who banged a single into left back in the 1st. And he takes down low.
Big difference is Lincecum's gotten some quick outs and has kept that pitch count pretty low.
Reyes hit the 2nd pitch of his at-bat in that 1st inning.
And his on-base percentage now is a little over 350.
And that's, people had asked us at the end of April and at the end of a stretch where Reyes was hitting about 240, and they said, what the heck is wrong with Jose Reyes? But he wasn't striking out a lot. His walks were up. We talk about the batting average on balls in play. And Reyes last year, when he won the batting title, his batting average on balls in play was a little over 350. His career, about 315. And at that point, his batting average on balls in play was 240. So you had to figure that he was going to come back up to his normal spot. And Lincecum goes 1-2-3 in the 3rd. To the 4th, Giants lead it 2-0.
out there, the LEED Gold certification. This is the first retractable roof stadium or ballpark building to be fully certified as a gold in terms of being green, using recycled materials in a lot of areas.
It's a wave of the future, and the Marlins got in early to do a lot of terrific things building this beautiful ballpark. And from, I know you've had the same thing, talking to the Giants, players, coaches, manager, broadcasters. Boy, they love it.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. I think with any building you open, whether it's a theater, whether it's a football stadium, a ballpark, an arena, it's a very different experience when you get in it as opposed to when you watch it on television. It's fun to watch it on television. It looks good on TV.
And we like that.
Right, but when you walk in the place, it is a totally different feeling. And I think the best compliment that almost every broadcast team has given, including the Yankee announcers when they were here, was the statement that, man, it really feels like and looks like Miami. A leadoff walk to Aubrey Huff, and a trivia question for all of us. Who's the only Giant to also play in the NBA? It's your AT&T.
Literally was a Giant.
Well, wait a minute. It might have been a point guard.
Yeah, it could have been.
I know one Giant.
Well, wait a minute. Did Mark Hendrickson pitch for the Giants?
I don't think so. However, I know one Giant that was a very good college basketball player, and that was Randy Wynn. Wynn was a teammate of Steve Nash's at Santa Clara. But Wynn did not play in the NBA, though he did, and I know we're going way off the track here, he did hit a half-court shot at an NBA game to win a car after he had turned pro. See, thank you for that. It doesn't count, though. It doesn't answer the question. Huff's at first. Arias hitting the double play that drove in the first run. He didn't get an RBI. And when JJ's throwing over to keep Aubrey Huff close.
Yeah, that number one, he just doesn't look as comfortable as we've seen the last 3 starts. He hasn't struck out anybody. That gives you a little idea that the stuff and the location isn't there the way it's been.
Huff is running, and a liner in the center is a base hit. Huff around second, he'll hold there. So JJ was sensing hit and run because Huff wasn't stealing it to straight steal it. And Arias executes, and here the Giants are again with their first 2 runners aboard, just like the second, just like the third.
Well, he sensed correctly. It was a hit and run, and it was pulled off beautifully. Huff on the move. Good swing by Arias. 5-game hitting streak now for Joaquin Arias.
Now you're down with Terrio, but you've got the pitcher on deck. Terrio pulls one foul.
You have a little bit of an out to get out of this inning. But the one thing that Josh hasn't been able to do so far is put hitters away. Now, if there ever was a time for him to put a hitter away, it's right here. 0-2 to Ryan Terrio. See if he goes back to that slider again.
Terrio ground ball leading Hanley towards second. Got one there. The relay is in time. Nice play by Hanley Ramirez, who had a runner coming at him but had the presence of mind to get the out at second and give Infante a chance to turn it.
That's a good job. And I say so often that a lot of times that double play is actually started by the pitch a pitcher makes. And Josh didn't go with the slider. He jammed Terrio with a good fastball to get him to hit that ground ball. So that started the whole double play. And then the nice turn by Infante. Very close at first base.
Here's Lincecum now, and he lines it foul. Now, I know this is stretching a bit, but if you watch this play unfold, watch how far Aubrey Huff goes out of his way to get away from Hanley Ramirez and the ball. He goes so far on the infield grass, that easily could have been called a triple play. Here's the 0-1. And Lincecum goes after it. Buck digs it out. Counts 0-2. If Josh Johnson can get out of this inning without giving up anything, he'll have to feel pretty good about himself. A walk to Huff, another single to Arias. The Giants already have 8 hits against JJ. He's not through the 4th. And he's thrown a whopping 66 pitches. Two and two. Wow. It must have been low. It looked like it was over the plate. And it wasn't low. And it was over the plate.
That's frustrating. It's a pitcher up there. That's got to be a strike. It is a strike.
Ground ball. Hanley has it and makes the play. And so JJ escapes any further damage in the 4th. Still 2-0 San Francisco. Supply. Our prices bring you in and our people bring you back. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. In Miami tonight, it's all San Francisco so far. Busy night around the Budweiser Bowtie Bar out there. Tim Lincecum. We asked the question when this thing started, which one of these aces would recapture his old form? And though Lincecum doesn't look as dominant as he has over his career. He has a walk, a strikeout. He's given up just one hit in the 3 innings. Omar Infante, Hanley Ramirez, Giancarlo Stanton. And a breaking ball from Lincecum for a strike. 4 hits last night for Infante. And he had a liner in the gap in left center that Angel Pagan made a nice running catch on in the first. Another one to center. Pagan steps back and makes the catch. I have no idea.
I got a name. I don't know if he played with the Giants. Let's go with Dick Groat.
AT&T trivia answer. Cassie Russell. Dick Groat.
Dick Groat.
1967.
Wasn't sure if he played for the Giants just 1 year. We're talking about Lincecum winning back-to-back Cy Young awards. Only 3 other pitchers in the history of the game have won back-to-back Cy Young awards. So he's in pretty good company. Sandy Koufax. The other 2 pitchers won back-to-back-to-back-to-back Cy Youngs, 4 in a row. Randy Johnson and Greg Maddux.
Oh, 2 misses in. And it's 1-2. Well, Lincecum's legend. Certainly a lot bigger than his frame. He's 5'11", 157.
He stretches it. I think it says 160.
And he strikes out Hanley Ramirez.
That was not the Cholula flamethrower, but it was a great breaking ball.
When Lincecum showed up as a freshman in high school, he was 4'11" and weighed 85 pounds. But he threw hard because he had this delivery that his father had taught him from the age of 5. And he wasn't real big in college either. 5'9", 135 pounds. That ball's driven left center deep towards the sculpture. Gone! Giancarlo again! Light it up!
You knew sooner or later he would attack the home run sculpture. He got it right at the base. And the on switch started. So the last 4 home runs over the last 11 games that the Marlins have been hit by Giancarlo. He needs a little help in that offense.
It does not appear that he's broken anything with this home run. 11th on the season. 10th in the month of May. After the first pitch to Morrison, again the Giants shift. The count's 0-1. I don't think I've ever seen a team shift after the first pitch of the at-bat.
Trying to figure out what kind of offense, or in this case defense, they're running.
Counts 0-2. And Lincecum strikes out Morrison. Marlins get a run on a long Giancarlo home run, but the Giants still lead this ball game 2-1. Melky Cabrera leads the major league in hits, 22 multi-hit games as well. 7 of his hits have come at the Marlins' expense. The Giants are counting on Melky Cabrera. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop 4 foolproof results. Subway 5th, 2-1 Giants. Giancarlo Stanton going out to left center field. And Josh Johnson goes back to work here in the 5th.
Giancarlo has acquainted himself with some popular places here at Marlins Park with his last 3 home runs. Remember the grand slam off the scoreboard. Then he went into the Budweiser bow tie balcony and then just found the home run sculpture. No small feats.
See Red Groom's signature.
I think the ball landed right near there.
Swing and a miss by Gregor Blanco, and Buck throws him out. That's the first strikeout for Josh Johnson in the ballgame. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Crawford. All of a sudden, Johnson's breaking ball has a little more bite and a little more tilt as the wave makes its way around Marlins Park.
Just making a quick check. It looks like the Marlins have homered 18 times in the month of May, and Giancarlo's hit 10 of those.
You're right about him needing some help.
Some good off-speed pitches in this inning by Josh Johnson. That's how he struck out Blanco. Good pitch there to get strike 2 to Crawford.
In on the hands, and it's fouled off. The home run that Stanton hit up to the Budweiser bow tie bar, the true distance is in on our favorite site, hittrackeronline.com. 458, which is just 4 feet shy of the scoreboard homer, which was 462.
And I would say the one at the base of the sculpture, probably in the 420.
The Mother's Day Grand Slam, 432.
They're right in that area. I'm guessing probably about 425.
Johnson hadn't struck anyone out until the 5th here. Now he has a couple of strikeouts.
Well, he's decided to go off speed. Got Blanco with the curveball. There's the curveball to get Crawford.
Now, the other statistic about the home run last night that went up in Budweiser land is the speed off the bat. Remember, 122.4 was the homer, the grand slam against Moyer, the fastest ever recorded since they've been tracking home runs since 2006. Last night, 114.8, which is the second fastest by a good deal for Stanton this year. His next closest was 108 miles an hour on that home run he hit at AT&T Park. Remember the line drive he hit to left? That was against Matt Cain, and he hit another one with the exact same speed off of Santiago Casilla.
So the one tonight just kind of a mere middle of the pack.
Yeah, nothing extraordinary except it nearly blew up the sculpture out there.
I'm telling you, it landed right by the on switch.
Here's the 3-2. That's line down the right field line. It's deep and it's gone. That's a home run for Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the pole. Looked like it hit that fair pole, foul pole, whatever you'd like to call it. It was high enough.
Cabrera, who had lined out twice to left, pulls this one, and that's what makes him so dangerous right now, Tommy. He's driving the ball hard to all fields.
That's why he's been such a, there it is, right off the pole. That's why he's been such a consistent hitter. And you pointed it out at AT&T Park. Maybe hit on the back wall. Hit over it. For a second, looked like it hit the pole. But he hits the ball to all fields.
Breaking ball is a strike.
That kind of hurts, too. The momentum was there after Stanton's home run, cutting the lead to just a 2-1 ball game. Momentum was there. J.J. had struck out the first two hitters. Crowd was getting into it. And then all of a sudden got a little quiet on Cabrera's solo home run.
That's only his third of the season.
68th base hit and a 9-game hitting streak now.
Oh, what a great addition to the Giants. Hensley Mullins, the hitting coach. J.J. ends up striking out the side, but he couldn't get Melky Cabrera, who bangs one out of here. It's 3-1.
Zap por Toyota.
Well, in English or in Spanish,
Senor.
the Marlins can't get Melky Cabrera out.
Wow, tell me about it.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
Richie, Tommy, how you guys doing?
Yeah, Melky Cabrera, you know, we saw him with Atlanta. He had an off year. He's had a tremendous year after his great year with Kansas City last year.
Tommy, he hit over 200 hit last year, so you know he's a pretty good hitter. And it seems like he's very happy with this ball club and the ability of switch hit. He's got power and having a great time.
Using both sides of the field as well.
Cookie, what's this club, the Marlins? What are they going to have to do to get a little other offense other than Giancarlo Stanton?
Well, Tommy, we have to get some hitting out of Logan Morrison, and then Hanley Ramirez. You know, in the past he had hit 20+ home runs. We got to get a little more power on that respect. So we got to get Bonifacio back in center field. We got to get Kearns back into the lineup and maybe go from there.
But right now, I think that the offense, especially with power, is the one where we need more than anything else.
Tommy, you think it's at least it seems like the top of the order is finally settling in. It seems like the issue seems to be from the 6th position down.
Oh, absolutely. Top of the order is fine. Reyes is on track. Infante's been there all year. Looks like Hanley's swinging the bat better. But when you have the struggles of Logan Morrison and Peterson and Buck and Coughlin, and then the pitcher spot, it's tough to score.
And it seems very, at this point at least, it's a mental issue more than a physical issue.
Right now, it's a Tim Lincecum issue. And a breaking ball misses down low. It's 3-2.
Oh, he's been perfect tonight. You know, mixing his fastball, his split finger fastball, and slider, and Johnson early in the game. But to me, he was kind of up and behind in the count all the time. And finally, the last inning, he started to get down on the ball. You know, except the home run from Milky Cabrera, but he started to use his slider and curveball and a little bit better.
Cookie, one last one for you. I know you saw this guy. You faced him. Lincecum, a different windup and delivery, but the Giants had a pretty good one in Juan Marichal that had a unique delivery.
Well, he sure did, and he lifted his leg just like Lincecum does, you know, and he could throw from all the sides, from the top of the arm to side arm, all kinds of pitches, Tommy.
Peterson hits that to center field, and Pagan is there and makes the catch. And I saw Marichal pitch at the end of his career in San Francisco. I really haven't seen anybody like him since.
Absolutely not. I don't see that anymore. One question for you guys. Do you remember a ball club like the Giants that have 5 switch hitters in the lineup?
Well, you go back to those 60s Dodgers teams. They had a lot of switch hitters.
Sorry, guys. What about El Duque and his high leg kick? Does that remind you a bit about Marichal?
A little bit. Bronson Arroyo has a unique leg kick, too.
Marlins saw a lot of lefty bats and a few switch hitters in Cleveland, but certainly not this many. All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
You too, guys.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Here is John Buck with 1 out. Lincecum misses in, and he's 3-0 on Buck. Buck lined to third his first time up.
Yeah, this is not at all the way Lincecum has been pitching. His last 4 starts gave up 22 hits in 21 innings and 15 earned runs. And the odd thing, he has just 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts tonight. But he'd been striking out over a man an inning.
That one popped foul and out of play.
Rich, the key for him tonight, prior to this inning, he'd faced 14 batters. He's thrown 4 pitches or less to 12 of them. So a lot of quick and early outs.
Lincecum is one of those guys that when he pitched at the old football stadium, he used to be absolutely drenched and dripping and a wet mess out there, though effective. It's down low, and Buck is aboard. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, guys, you're talking about Lincecum. The Giants have certainly done a great job with their draft picks. Take a look at these top picks the last 6 years. Lincecum, 2 Cy Youngs. We'll see the lefty Bumgarner tomorrow. They got him out of high school. He was in the rotation at age 20 in 2010. You know how great Buster Posey out of Florida State has become. He was 2 years after the draft in the World Series lineup. They traded Zach Wheeler, promising pitcher to the Mets in the Pagan deal. In the last 2 years, they got Gary Brown, a college outfielder who was doing okay in Richmond, and they really like this Joe Panik out of St. John's University, a shortstop. He was the MVP of the Class A Northwest League last year, 341. He's hitting 250 now. So they've had some mileage out of their top picks. Rich?
Well, you're right. They certainly have done that. John Buck gets down to second on a fastball that got through Buster Posey. And now Chris Coughlin has an opportunity to drive in a run. Coughlin lined to left. His first time up.
These are opportunities when you're struggling to score runs. This is where it's such a fine line. You can't put pressure on yourself, but you know these are opportunities that you need to take advantage of. That was ruled a pass ball, by the way, Rich.
Pitches up. And so first and second. And I think Josh Johnson's coming out of this ball game. Greg Dobbs just popped up on deck. And Ozzie Guillen is going to pull the trigger here. He sees that this is a close ball game. Buster Posey got to the mound. He just turned around and noticed there's no JJ. It's Dobbs. And an aggressive move by Guillen here.
Well, you probably would have gotten one more inning out of Josh because he's had 90 pitches. And you're right. Sometimes you have that one chance to use your best pinch hitter. You know they're not going to bring in a left-hander. You know Dobbs is going to face Lincecum.
Here's Dobbs.
And remember, we told you at the beginning of the game the issues that Lincecum has had this year. It's been the big inning. The big inning is getting him in a lot of trouble.
Well, that's been an issue for the Marlins on the other side. They have had an inability to cash in on big innings. A pair of one-out walks and a pitch that misses way outside. And Lincecum can't find the plate. Top of the order is next with Reyes on deck.
Well, one thing, you know, Dobbs has been sitting, watching Lincecum, watching patterns, see what he's been doing to different hitters.
Breaking ball, he buries it in the dirt, and it's 2-0. And so if you're Dobbs now, you can think one pitch, look for one pitch, and if you don't get it, the worst you've got is a 2-1 count.
Lincecum had 1-2-0 count the first 4 innings. He's had 2-0 counts to the last 4 hitters now. You have to, if you're Dobbs, you have to think you're going to get fastball.
Gets it, rolls it. Huff dives on his knees, bobbles, and gets the out at first. Aubrey Huff cutting that ball off before it got to the outfield. The Marlins have runners second and third and 2 outs. And here comes Reyes.
Dobbs not going to be happy with his approach on this 2-0 pitch. Went out and reached for a pitch, rolled over on one. And Aubrey Huff is playing first base like Brandon Belt tonight.
Brandon Belt's a very good first baseman.
Yes.
Giants get the out. Marlins fire their best pinch hitter. And Dobbs moves the runners up, but it's going to take a Reyes hit or an Infante hit to score him. Lincecum with a breaking ball gets a strike. It's 0-1. Reyes is 1 for 2, a single, and he's bounced to first. JJ 90 pitches over 5 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, even with the troubles in this inning, Lincecum's only at 68 pitches.
He got good speed of the trail runner, Coughlin at second. Dan Jennings just up from the minor leagues.
Second time that Jennings has been up with the Marlins.
There's Buck, he walked. Coghlan walked. And Reyes strikes out. And so the Marlins go for it here in the 5th, and Lincecum shuts him down. Carlos Ruiz and the Phillies in St. Louis to take on Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals. Also, the Rays and the Red Sox. Fenway Park. Baseball Night in America presented by Chevrolet. Tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Only on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and the start time and the appropriate wardrobe in your area. Here's the move that the Marlins made, and it comes into play now since Dan Jennings is in the ball game. Jennings up for his second tour with the Fish, and Mike Dunn sending back down to New Orleans. Marlins are hopeful that he can straighten things out, because you need, if you're going to have one lefty out there in Randy Choate, it's nice to have another, so managers can't manage around that one lefty.
Boy, and you look at those numbers of Dan Jennings, he's earned it. He earned the right to get back up here. And remember, he did make his major league debut earlier in a game against Arizona. Fastballs and sliders, very aggressive on the mound, and a good attitude.
Angel Pagan, the switch hitter, a couple of hits. He's 4 for 7 in the series, and he's knocked in 4 runs. And that breaking ball away, it's 1-1. So JJ's night is done. Lincecum in his 5 innings, just 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Ground ball short. Reyes gathers it in and fires to first. Tomorrow night is also a Saturday Spectacular. The game starts at 4:10. If you're here early, you'll get an autograph session with a player after the game. Stay for a plaza party with games, bounce houses, rides, music, prizes, and fun for the entire family. For tickets, go to marlins.com.
Our director, Jim Holly, always loves the bounce house.
The hard part is getting Jim out of the bounce house
Yeah.
in time for the show. By then, he's already had 4 or 5 snow cones. Aubrey Huff, a single, and has walked. Boy, what an addition he would be if he's able to revive his bat for the Giants. his was one of the sweetest stories in 2010 because he had played his entire career for losing teams.
He'd been with Baltimore, been with the Rays when they weren't real good. Can't say that about the Rays now. Played for Houston.
He had just a little bit with Detroit. And Huff went around. Buck snaps the throw to first in time to get him. Jennings gets a strikeout. Joaquin Arias.
Nicely done by Dan Jennings to just put away a veteran hitter. Got him to chase that slider.
You know, if you look at the Marlins statistics today in the stat pack, which goes out throughout Major League Baseball, Jennings' name is not in there because he was added after the stats have been printed. However, Juan Carlos Oviedo's name is in there.
And a little news on Juan Carlos.
Or JC, as Edward Mujica called him today. Mujica talked with Juan Carlos, and he's excited to rejoin the team. He's got his visa. He's headed to the United States. He will join the Marlins. He cannot play for the Marlins. He's got a 8-week suspension to serve, and so that's going to wipe out the month of June and probably most of July. And if he's in shape and ready to go, the Marlins may see him in August. There's Mujica in the bullpen right now.
And at that point in time, certainly a welcome addition to the bullpen.
And it'll be interesting to watch the former Leo Nunez, but now he's Juan Carlos Oviedo in a role that's not a closer role, in that 8th inning role, or maybe the 7th inning role, any role for that matter. That one's hit hard, and Morrison spears it. Jennings goes 1-2-3 to the Giants in the 6th. San Francisco 3, Miami 1. Giants have played some great defense in this one. That's a difficult catch. After we freeze it, brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. Melky Guerra made it look easy. Giants have played good defense, as Tommy pointed out, not looking like the team that is the worst in Major League Baseball in fielding. They have had a ton of timely hitting. They look like a team that is hot, and they are hot. San Francisco has won 9 of their last 13. Omar Infante against Lincecum. Misses away with a breaking ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, we told you last night only San Diego and Cincinnati were worse with runners in scoring position. Yet the Giants last night went 7 for 17 in those situations.
That one is hit hard. Melky Cabrera won't get this one. It skips by him. Infante on his way to second, thinking about third, trying for third, and then pulls the chute and heads back to second. He gave it a great turn and probably got 25 feet to third. He saw that the relay throw was on the mark, hit the brakes, and scampered back.
Well, there's kind of an old adage, don't make the first or the third out at third base. And good base running. The way Melky Cabrera is playing, I'm surprised he didn't catch this ball, but he does make a good play retrieving it and getting it back quickly. And looking all the way was Infante. And at first you thought he was going to go for third, but then he says, okay, I got the big boys coming up, Hanley, Giancarlo, and he gets back to second base with his 11th double of the year.
So here are the big boys, and Hanley fouls it back to the screen. Hanley has flied out. He has struck out. Stanton has flied out and homered. In his career against Lincecum, Hanley has a couple of hits in 8 at-bats. One of those is a home run.
Hanley continues to feel comfortable in this ballpark. Came into the game hitting .338 at home. 4 of his 7 home runs here.
The Giants have out-hit the Marlins 9-3. Ball and 2 strikes. Last night it was a tight game into the 6th, and then it spiraled out of control. It went from 1-1 to 14-7 in the course of 3 innings. San Francisco getting game 1, this game 2. Tomorrow 4:10, Sunday 1:10. Hanley fights off another fastball.
Hey, Hanley has had some pretty good fastballs to hit.
Burley and Bumgarner. Lefties, but different styles, sure.
In this matchup, this time, Burley's the elder statesman. Not the case last time for Burley.
He was the up-and-comer against Moyer. And that was obviously a matchup of left-handers. Hanley pops this one up, and it may be playable. Posey reaches. Buster battling the fish for that pop-up.
Hey, he got himself right over that on-deck circle, too. And then you have the netting, the screen, the fish tank.
I'll bet you're going to see a catcher before too long on a play like that. Jump up on top of that fish tank, because you can get up.
You can do that.
You can get up on that fish tank. We would not advise that at home.
It's going to have to be a real agile catcher.
I could see a Molina getting up there when Yadier gets in here with the Cardinals, because you see the ledge.
Yeah, I don't think Jose could.
No.
Or Benji.
Two. It's in. So Hanley now has run the count 3-2. Does he get another one of those Lincecum fastballs here?
I don't know. He's had a good at bat. He's seen the split. He's seen some breaking balls. the go-to pitch has been the fastball. He goes up. He'll elevate the fastball. You got to be ready for that one.
Got him. Breaking ball inside corner. I'm not sure Hanley was in disagreement as much as he was in disbelief. That's close.
Well, that's hard to tell.
That's on the black.
It's on the black. If it was a backup slider, if it was the splitter, real hard pitch to tell. But it was
that's
located right there.
A great pitch.
Yeah. I'm guessing splitter.
Now Stanton. Into center field, that's a base hit. Infante racing around third, and Giancarlo Stanton has driven in another run against the Giants.
Folks, have a look at the Marlins offense. Its name is Giancarlo Stanton. That's been it. A solo shot, an RBI single. The Marlins with 2 runs thanks to Giancarlo. Boy, he stays on this pitch. Doesn't hit it all that sharply off the end of the bat, but enough to score Infante.
Let's watch now the Giants. The Giants, on the first pitch of Morrison's at bat, will have an infield that looks like this. And on the second pitch, they will shift around to the right side. And both times they've done it after Lincecum has delivered the first pitch of the at bat. And I guess the question would be, Tommy, why?
Well, the only thing here, it's the first time he's been up with a man on first base, though. So I don't know if they'll do it here.
But why would they shift after the first pitch? To get into his head?
Inquiring minds want to know. We'll ask Bruce Bochy tomorrow. He may not want to tell us.
Stanton is running. The pitch is out. Posey's throw not nearly in time.
Just another part of the Stanton package. So if you get a big jump, you want to steal off Lincecum, who gives you an opportunity to get a nice jump, go ahead and take it. And just like that, Stanton's in scoring position.
And now, with a runner at second, let's see what the Giants infield does. It's sort of a half shift with Terrio out on the grass and Crawford creeping behind second. Not nearly the shift they had on in his first 2 at-bats. Morrison takes a breaking ball for a strike. That pitch all of a sudden for Lincecum is in competition to that go-to pitch that you mentioned.
It'd be a nice time for Logan Morrison to bust out of things. One of those sweet line drives into left center.
Two and one. Stanton has driven in both runs. He has a stolen base, another homer. It's a 1-run game now. Morrison awaits the 2-1. Fastball, and he missed it. And it's 2-2.
Yeah, there was a time the Marlins were below 200 in those situations.
Which is amazing for a team with the best record in May, 16-7.
Well, the loss last night, the first time the Marlins have lost 2 in a row in the month of May.
Breaking ball, and the count stays at 2-2. If you just happen by, this is a matchup of Tim Lincecum and Josh Johnson. But Johnson is long gone in this game. He lasted 5. The Marlins pulled him for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 5th. That man hit one up into the home run sculpture for a solo shot, and he just drove in Omar Infante, who doubled to lead off the 6th. Morrison with a count 2-2. Takes outside.
I would say Dave Righetti and Bruce Bochy and those who follow the Giants would say this is the best velocity Lincecum has had. He's been 92, 93, where a few starts ago he was 88 to 89.
All right, the go-to pitch on Hanley at 3-2 was off speed.
And it could be that splitter.
He got him looking. Let's see if he throws the same to Morrison. Fastball is low. Morrison walks.
That's a gutsy take, because that pitch is real close.
Here comes Righetti.
And I'm not sure Lomo was sure. He had to wait and hear the call.
On Fox Tracks, boy, on the black and at the knees. I don't know that Lincecum got a whole lot of help from Posey on that. And sometimes when
watch Posey tries to bring it up, but he goes down that way. Now he tries to bring the catcher's mitt up a little.
And that's no fault of Posey's.
No.
Lincecum missed the target by so much. When you miss your target and force your catcher to go down and in and get the ball, a lot of times you're not going to get the call.
Little baby steps, hopefully, for Logan Morrison. He's had a couple of walks tonight. In each of those at-bats, he saw pitches, he looked better. So you hope that's a step in the right direction.
So Peterson now in a big spot with first and second and one out. Marlins down a run in the bottom of the sixth. And he takes down low. Peterson has struck out and flied to center. That one is low. Giants bullpen is in motion. John Buck is on deck.
Two straight off-speed pitches. Peterson.
Giants don't have anyone throwing out there, but a lot of relievers are running around right now. The 2-0 pitch is a strike. Peterson is not homered in this season. He homered twice last year in the big leagues. And he's a guy that in his minor league career hit 54 homers. Two-one. Line into right field. That's a base hit. Stand around third. They will hold him at third base. The throw from Blanco. Bags loaded. Here comes Buck. Blanco has a decent arm in right. Here's a look.
High fastball. Peterson all over it. Hits it sharply, and that's probably the reason Stanton was held. Tough decision for Joe Espada. A lot of times we see Joe very aggressive, especially when you've had a club struggling scoring runs. But you see how far Joe gets down. He waits a long time before he makes that decision. Stanton's thinking he's going to score until he picks up the spotter.
And now the pressure is on both Tim Lincecum and John Buck. Buck has walked and lined out. The infield looks for a double play. Lincecum looking for an escape hatch here with one out in the bottom of the sixth and the bags loaded in a one-run game.
And wouldn't it be nice for this part of the order to really contribute? One of the biggest home runs John Buck has hit as a Marlin was his opening day home run last year, which was a grand slam.
To center, it's deep. Back goes Pagan. He should have room. Everybody tagged. Stanton coming. Peterson to the bag. There's no one at second, and Peterson gets there. This game is tied. Buck, a sacrifice fly. Morrison and Peterson are both in scoring position.
Boy, Great job on all the runners' part. Great job on John Buck's part. He got a pitch. He could drive. Stays back very well. That sends Pagan a long way into center field. Stanton scored easily. And then also tagging Logan Morrison and Brian Peterson. Good job all around.
Chris Coghlan now. Kevin Madison is on deck. The pitcher spot is due up next.
You have to wonder how much Cogs will get to hit. Good tailing fastball, good two-seamer there.
Coghlan to right field. That's deep. Get out of here. Ball gone. 3-run shot.
How about the bottom of the order? We talked about Lincecum getting spoiled with the big innings. He's had a big inning on here in this inning by the Marlins, and the bottom part of the order, the culprits. That is a thing of beauty.
Early in his career, Chris Coghlan had homered against Tim Lincecum. And in a long drought coming into this at bat, Coghlan puts one in the seats in right field. And the Marlins take the lead 6-3. Our Coors Light cold hard blast. Tim Lincecum is done. In the bottom of the 6th, Miami a 6-3 lead. We're back after this. Shot, and that causes all kinds of change. Brandon Belt is in at first base. The Giants go to a right-hander out of their pen. Shane Lukes and Kevin Madison shortens the bunt. He takes down low. So Lincecum's night is done. There are the numbers on Lukes.
Yeah, basically a sinker ball guy, just making his 4th appearance. The 6 earned runs allowed by Lincecum, tying the most for the season, and again a big inning. Are you forget the year that Chris Coughlin was Rookie of the Year in 2009. He hit 9 home runs.
Madison takes outside. There's a look at Lincecum. Lukes has been to the big leagues with 2 other clubs, the Tigers and the Angels. He spent all of last year with the Giants AAA team in Fresno and was a starter. He's out of Rapid City, South Dakota. He's 32. Madison, a high fly ball, a lot of room out there, and Angel Pagan is out there as well. And he makes the catch, but a big inning by the Marlins. 5 runs, a crooked number. 3-run homer by Coughlin knocks Lincecum out of the game. And now the Marlin bullpen has to step up in a 6-3 ball game. Miami tonight. JM Lexus resets the game 6-3. Marlins on top. 7th inning arrives. Josh Johnson was not sharp. 5 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, 90 pitches. Marlins pulled him for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 5th. That didn't work, but a 5-run bottom of the 6th did. That knocked Tim Lincecum out of the game, and the bullpens now take over. Dan Jennings pitched a scoreless 6th. It's his game to win if the Marlins pen can finish these last 3 innings. Randy Choate is first out of the pen to try to do it.
Well, with the lefties, the switch hitters in the lineup for the Giants, Dan Jennings worked the 1-2-3 6th. And actually right now, Jennings, if this lead holds up, stands to pick up his first major league win.
Well, Terrio leads off, but then you've got Brandon Belt, who came in the double switch, Gregor Blanco and Brandon Crawford, 3 left-handed bats. So Ozzie Guillen is hoping that Choate can start the inning by getting Terrio and then attack the lefties. Choate's been outstanding for the Fish. Is 1-1. Terrio takes up, and it's 2-1. The Marlins 6 runs on 6 hits. The Giants are out hitting the Fish with 9 hits, but just 3 runs. Marlins have hit 2 homers. Giancarlo Stanton his 11th. Chris Coughlin his first.
You know, the home run too, Rich, by Chris Coughlin, because of an injury-plagued season last year. His last home run was April 25th last year against the Dodgers.
The one thing about Coughlin's numbers this year, they were awful going into that at bat. But remember, he had been sent down to AAA. He had an 8-game hit streak, and most of those games he had multiple hits when he was called up. And so he was swinging the bat well. He just had been unable to get into the lineup and iron it out here. Well, Choate's gone 3-2 to Terrio. Good contact guy, good hitter. Smacks it, and Reyes goes down to make the catch. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Rich, thank you very much. And with Harry Horgan, the founder of Shake a Leg, the Marlins, one of their premier charities, and it really is good. Tell the people what you guys do, Harry, because this is amazing, and you got a big group out here tonight.
Well, what we do is get people out on the water and help them feel better about themselves. We target kids with disabilities and their families, and to be teamed up with the Marlins, who represent the water, we're really excited to get a lot of people out and have a good time.
You guys got out to the field today. We talked with John Buck, was down there with Cameron Ader, one of your young yachtsmen, and a lot of these young kids with disabilities are able to pick up boating.
Well, that's what's so special about boating. There's magic on the water, and there's Cameron, who has a passion for the water, and there's John Buck that just wants to help kids with disabilities and share his passion for baseball, and together the magic happens and we get them on the water.
It's a big weekend, Shake a Leg weekend. You're selling raffles here. Fans can go to marlins.com/Buck to make a donation, or marlins.com/Shake a Leg Miami. Tell us how fans can help.
Well, they can help by helping us with some raffle tickets, sign a kid up for summer camp, or come on down and learn more about what we're doing and get involved.
All right, you'll be out here tomorrow again at the ballpark?
We'll be out here tomorrow and Sunday, so come on down and enjoy what we're enjoying here and root on the Marlins.
It must be very prideful for you to see young kids pick up something that would be intimidating at first and be able to do it, huh?
It sure is. The water is an equalizer, and watching these baseball heroes, they're true inspirations for people, and the water is a place where people with disabilities can be equal with their able-bodied peers.
Thanks, Harry, for all the work you do, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Harry Horgan, guys, each month the Marlins will feature some of their favorite charities, and this month it is a terrific one, Shake a Leg. Back to you.
Yeah, Craig, that's one of the charities that the Marlins Community Foundation has targeted as one of their main charities this year. That one fouled back.
Saw John Buck during batting practice behind the batting cage talking to a group of the youngsters.
And they all had
the shirts on.
The red-orange shirts with Buck's name on them. So Choate got a little help on that line drive from Terrio that Reyes caught. He's 2-2. Belt starts the trio of lefty bats with Blanco and Crawford behind him. To left, Coughlin in, and he makes the catch. So there are 2 outs. If you like to eat and you like baseball, well, then get in on the all-you-can-eat special. Legends Silver Ticket. All-you-can-eat hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, soda, and water for just $34. The next all-you-can-eat game is on Monday, the 28th. Marlins and Nationals. Remember, that's a day game. It's Memorial Day. The Marlins will have those cool Memorial Day caps that are on sale right now at the gift store here at Marlins Park. It's a 1:10 start. Go to marlins.com for tickets for Sunday. Or for Sunday and Monday. And she didn't get any on her shirt.
Not like you and I.
No,
that thing would be all over us.
No. So she's got the tray down below for any shrapnel. That looks more like a taco than a hot dog.
I think it is.
See, look, she's a little.
That might be from Miami Mex.
Preemptive.
Maybe a fish taco.
Preemptive strike there to knock some of the stuff off. Gregor Blanco is in the leadoff spot for the Giants. Randy Choate has a couple outs, and he whips in a strike on 3-0 to run the count to 3-1. Blanco singled in the third. So a real test for the Marlins bullpen. A short start by JJ. Dan Jennings through the first inning. Choate has 2 outs for the second bullpen inning. And the Marlins are going to need a couple more. Slice down the line. That's a fair ball. And Blanco, Coghlan picks it off the wall, is in there with a double. Gregor Blanco has 4 hits in this series. Boy, the Giants, you put the term out there, are making contact, and a lot of it. And I guess good things happen when you make contact.
Well, guys like, well, first of all, Cabrera is just hot, period. He's been hitting everybody. Then you have guys like Blanco, who I mentioned a couple of innings ago. He's over a .340 career hitter against the Marlins. What about 65 at bats?
What about Pagan, who has 2 hits tonight, or Crawford, who's got 2 hits tonight? Crawford, a couple of singles.
Well, you'd love to get Crawford, because that way Cabrera can't bat with men on base. He'd have to lead off the next inning.
Cabrera has homered, and he's hit in 9 straight games. 0-1. Popped up. Infield. Morrison makes the play. Randy Choate puts a scoreless inning in the books. 7th inning stretch in Miami tonight. In Miami, our Toyota Trend, 14 runs last night, season high, second time in 123 games that they'd even gone past 10. Reyes leads it off. Marlins looking for some insurance. Belt way off to get that, and he flips it to Luke, and Luke gets to the bag. 1 out. And here comes Omar Infante. Each night we pick a player that fits nicely in the Cholula hot sauce spotlight. Look how Infante walked right to the right side of the screen just so the Cholula hot sauce graphic could pop right in there. 4 for 5 against the Giants last night. And in this one, it was his double that started the 5-run 6th.
Hey, Infante has been Cholula hot all year.
Speaking of Cholula hot sauce, I think the Marlins are going to miss Steven Strasburg.
The Marlins are going to miss Steven. And the other one they're going to miss is Gio Gonzalez.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. With they would have had a lot of folks from Hialeah would have been here for that.
To show you how strong the Nationals pitching is, you're still going to get Jordan Zimmerman, Edwin Jackson, and Ross Detweiler, who threw that good game against the Marlins in Washington.
Yeah, Detweiler very good against the Marlins earlier this year. Look out. And it's 2-2. The Nationals tonight are in Atlanta. The Braves and the Nationals with that weekend series. 4-3 Nationals, bottom 6 in Atlanta.
Marlins fans and fans of this area will get a chance to see the youngster Bryce Harper, who's played in every game since his call-up. 19 years old.
And remember, the series starts at 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon on Memorial Day. So obviously a great holiday associated with barbecues and get-togethers. And you can add baseball to that list. A 1 o'clock start and have the barbecue after the first trip in for the Nationals. 3-2 pitch. He's low and inside. Infante walks.
Rick Ankill's driven in a couple of runs for the Nats, and our good friend Matt Diaz has 3 RBIs for the Braves.
Well, the Marlins have run, and they've run a lot against Buster Posey. Giancarlo Stanton with a stolen base in this ball game, and so don't be surprised if Infante takes off here. Hanley and then Stanton. Lukes throws over to first.
Yeah, the other thing about, just thinking about it at the time and wasn't sure, Coughlin's home run, only the second Marlins left-handed batter to hit one to right field here at Marlins Park.
Logan Morrison, the other.
Yeah.
Morrison's was way back in early April. Hanley, a high chopper, and it's pulled foul. The Mets are at home against San Diego and have a 6-1 lead. The Mets at 24-21. The Marlins are at 24-21. The Phillies, who keep getting up to 500, then going back down a bit, are at 500 going into play tonight, but they trail the Cardinals in St. Louis 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th. That one gets away. Infante's on his way. He may get to third. Espada will send him. Belt's throw is a long one, and he's in. Well, that certainly changes the whole at bat for Hanley Ramirez. Luke's trying to pick off Infante, and here's a look. That's an error on the first baseman.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that was catchable by Brandon Belt.
That'll be an error on the first baseman. Once they watch that replay.
Yeah, certainly catchable. Good speed by Infante. And again, and we've seen this in this game, the Marlins have taken advantage of some opportunities. A great chance here to add on.
Infield is in. One of the nice at-bats in that 6th inning was John Buck's sacrifice fly to deep center field. That tied the ball game. Chris Coghlan then hit a 3-run homer, and that's how the Marlins have their 6-3 lead. That's into center field. That's a base hit. Infante will trot home. Boy, a sweet swing by Hanley. Didn't try to do too much, Tommy.
I've said it many times, there isn't a better feeling when you're up there, a man at third, less than 2 out, infield is in. You just feel like you're a 300 hitter. And look at that. So the error committed by the team that's made more errors than any team in baseball, set up that run.
Runner goes. It's a strike. On both ends, it's a strike. Great throw by Posey. Nails Hanley Ramirez. And they count 0-1 to Giancarlo Stanton.
Now, we said earlier that Ozzy's going to continue to have his guys run. The good part about that is Hanley's knee's okay. Remember after he fouled that ball off his knee last night. Straight steal. Just credit Buster Posey with a perfect throw.
Fastball for a strike. Stanton homered in the 4th. RBI single in the 6th. Marlins have an insurance run here on the Hanley Ramirez single and a 7-3 lead. Ground ball out towards second. Terrio bobbles, buries it in the dirt. Belt picks it. The Fish get a run, and to the 8th now. It is 7-3. When you went to the Senior Bowl and you showed up and your buddy was wearing the same tuxedo, it's kind of what we had today with the ties.
We didn't plan on this, really.
Not at all. But for the Marlins,
it's worked out so well.
It has. For the Fish to knock Tim Lincecum out, to get production from the bottom of the order. You talked about how important that was for this ball club coming into a game like this tonight.
You know, there are wins and there are wins, and hopefully the Marlins can hang on and win this. But if they do, it'll be a great team effort because of what the bottom of the order has been able to do with Buck, with Peterson, with Coughlin, the whole bit. It's been a great opportunity and good to see.
On a night where they got just 5 innings out of Josh Johnson. They've had 2 scoreless innings by 2 different relievers. The newly arrived Dan Jennings and the veteran Randy Choate, both with scoreless innings. And so now Mujica Mujica's last appearance, he didn't have his best stuff. That was Tuesday night. He didn't get it out. He gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. That was in the 7-6 win over Colorado.
Yeah, you look at that bottom part. You even throw in Logan Morrison, his walk that helped get things going, and of course Coughlin's 3-run shot.
Melky Cabrera, as we've noted, is the hottest hitter on the planet. In road games, 3rd best in the National League. Nissan leaders of the game. To right, Stanton's got to go a ways, and he isn't going to get it. Off the wall it goes, and he's at it again. Melky Cabrera around second, on his way to third. Infante on the relay, dropped it. Not sure he was going to get Cabrera anyways. So a homer and a triple for Melky Cabrera. He has 5 hits, 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer. And our Kawasaki performance of the game.
Well, I saw that target of John Buck's missed by Mujica. And when you miss to a hot hitter, I mean, he's even hotter than David Wright of the Mets. Melky Cabrera is on fire.
Posey fouls it off. The last 4 hitters that Mujica has faced on this homestand, Todd Helton doubled, Michael Kadire walked, Willeen Rosario had an RBI single, and now Cabrera triples. .92 with that fastball.
And with Mujica, it's always about location. And you saw how he missed with that pitch that Cabrera tripled on.
Bouncer up the middle. Run comes home. Infante gets the out. Marlins trade an out for a run, and the Giants are a run closer at 7-4. Posey gets an RBI. His 24th of the season. And you'd like to see Mujica be able to just get a couple of quick outs here so that when Heath Bell or whoever pitches the ninth, if the Marlins add on and it's a 5-run lead, gets to attack the bottom third of the order instead of
having to go back to the top.
Yeah, and having to deal with the Cabrera and Posey and this guy Pagan again. Pagan had 2 hits and 3 RBIs last night. He's 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI tonight. You got 2 hot teams. I mean, the Giants winners 9 of 13. The Marlins on a 16-7 run in May that started in San Francisco. Sort of a save me San Francisco trip for the Marlins.
And they didn't take the train either.
And it started, they had lost 8 of 9. I got that. They had lost 8 of 9 before they stepped foot in San Francisco. They swept the Giants, swept the Padres, and took 2 of 3 from Houston on an 8-1 road trip, and have been playing well since.
We had such an enjoyable ride on the train from Washington, D.C. to New York. I remember guys saying, hey, let's take the train to San Francisco.
That would have taken probably about 5 days.
Yeah, they didn't have that trip back in the day.
The 1-2. But the Marlins are going to make another train trip later in the season. They've got that same Washington, D.C. to New York trip. That was outstanding. One of the best parts was Joey Cora, the bench coach for the Marlins. Joey Cora put on the conductor cap and was walking up and down the aisles asking for tickets.
Came through all the cars.
Yes. And it was really cool because the Marlins essentially had pretty much their own train. There were about, I think, 5 cars that were set aside. The players had a couple. There was a bar car that had refreshments and lunches and food. Here's the 2-2. And Mujica strikes out Angel Pagan. See, Tommy, if it weren't for your musical knowledge, we never would have been able to relay that story.
Got off on that tangent. Good to see Mujica come back with some good pitches after giving up that triple on a mistake pitch to Cabrera.
Nate Schierholtz and he'll face Mujica with nobody aboard and 2 outs. Schierholtz known for his great throwing arm, a really good defensive right fielder. That comes in handy in San Francisco, where all 3 outfield spots are challenging. Coughlin in, Reyes out. Coughlin calls, Reyes peels off. And Mujica finishes the 8th. Giants get a run back, but it's 7-4 Miami. Fans, log on to Marlins.com and vote for that man for sure. You might want to vote for Omar Infante or Hanley Ramirez as well. You can vote a maximum of 25 times for your favorite Marlin for the National League All-Star team. 100 fans will be randomly selected to each win 2 free Marlin tickets. One grand prize winner will receive a 22-person luxury suite for a game. Go to Marlins.com and vote now.
Understand Wednesday night during the Nationals game, we're going to have our contest winners broadcast come up for an inning. Spend some time with us, some time with Craig and Niner.
Now tomorrow we requested a bat. We needed some help, and so Cliff Floyd will be in the booth tomorrow night.
We're going over our wardrobe with Cliff as we speak.
Go to first, and Morrison is out. That's right, because Cliff and Preston have set the bar high with their studio appearances. But tomorrow, a 4 o'clock start, we're in Tommy Bahama mode.
Oh yeah, we got the next 3 days. We can go Tommy Bahama.
Brian Peterson now has a look at Javier Lopez.
Yeah, this guy's tough on lefties. Tough for any lefty. Young, old. Saw how he had Lomo out front, a little nubber off the end of the bat.
Lopez, who pitched last night, ended up giving up 4 runs in an inning's work. Terrio bobbles. Peterson gets there. That might be a hit. Peterson runs well, and Terrio trying to pick it and flip it. It's going to be an E4.
Tough play. You do have to factor in Peterson's speed, but you also have the feeling if Terrio picks it cleanly, he gets it over to first base. But tough play.
So the Giants have made 2 errors. And here now is Buck. Trying to bunt, he fouls it back. The official score has not changed the error. At least I don't think he has. On the throwing error, they originally gave it to the pitcher, Lukes. and it was cleanly on the replay dropped by Belt.
Just to put the errors in perspective with Heath Bell getting ready, the Giants now with 49. The Marlins middle of the pack in the National League with 31. And the best defensive team, just 24 errors, Atlanta.
Ball and a strike. Lopez ready. Peterson's at first. Buck a ground ball. That leads Crawford right to the bag. He'll flip it.
Yeah, he came off the bag. Terrio thought that Crawford was going to take it.
I thought he was too. I was really surprised.
We were as surprised as Ryan Terrio, and when he got the flip from Crawford, he wasn't on the bag. So a heads-up call by Mike Buchlinski, the second base umpire. Yeah, it looks like Crawford's going to come right across the bag. Now, whoops, Terrio comes off the bag and then gets the throw.
A nice job by Terrio just to recover and get the out at first.
See, now, to me, that's more of an error than the little chopper that Peterson hit. But because you can't assume a double play, there's no error charged.
And an official score cannot charge an error in judgment.
We're charged, you and I, many times with errors in judgment.
That's a given on a nightly basis. Coughlin took an off-speed pitch from Tim Lincecum and hit it in the seats for a 3-run homer, a dramatic one that snapped a 3-3 tie. A desperately needed bolt from the bottom of the order. Belt flips. Lopez is there. Marlins done in the 8th. Heath Bell comes on in a save opportunity in a 7-4 game in Miami. Here comes Belt with a 3-run lead to protect. Of the night. Giancarlo Stanton didn't hit it at the pool in the Clevelander, but he hit the water. Well, he sort of hit the water. Watch where this one lands. Into the home run sculpture. Heath Bell.
Well, after saving 4 of 5 and 3 in a row, Heath Bell's had a little bit of a breather down to the bullpen, and we have told you how his last 4 or 5 outings, he's put it all together. His last time out, a save against the Rockies, he came in, made some great pitches the night before, picking up the save and striking out Todd Helton and throwing mid-90s.
That was probably the most dramatic of Bell's saves this year. Starts with a fastball for a strike to Joaquin Arias. That was on Tuesday night. He gave up the leadoff double to Jordan Pacheco, who ended up at third base with 1 out. And Bell had to face Troy Tulowitzki and Todd Helton. He got Tulowitzki to pop to the shortstop, Jose Reyes, and then froze Helton on a fastball right on the outside corner to end the game. And Jennings a scoreless inning. Randy Choate a scoreless inning. Edward Mujica was touched for a run in the 8th. Arias is 1 for 3. Bell misses up. 2-1.
So again, you have the bottom third, Arias, Terrio, and Belt, before you have to deal with the top of that order, those hot hitters.
Breaking ball misses in. And it's 3-1.
He's a little surprised at breaking ball on 2-1.
See what he gets. 3-1. Fastball fouled off, and the count at 3-2. Bell is just getting his legs under him now, and he's seeing teams that he's faced a lot of in the Rockies and now the Giants. Of course, on the West Coast road trip, the Marlins saw the Giants and his old team, the Padres. Three-two coming. Arias lines it foul. Still 3-2. Arias keeps fighting off fastballs. Terrio and then Belt for Bruce Bochy's Giants. 3-2 again. And this one's out of the reach of Morrison. Burley Bumgarner, and please note the start time 3:30 for Marlins Live. 4 o'clock, we start the big show. Arias barrels that one up and drives it in the gap. Trying to get to it is Peterson. He does, but not before Arias has a leadoff double. This similar to the start for Bell against the Rockies in that 9th inning, although he had a 1-run cushion there. Here he's got a 3-run cushion.
So much early in the year, Bell struggled with location. That fastball right there, it was almost like the other night after that leadoff double. He started throwing even a little harder. So we'll see if that 92 and 93 becomes 94 and 5 these next few hitters.
Steve Cishek is in the pen. Terrio now. And there's that downward tilt and that low fastball that really the bread and butter for Bell. And it's 0-1. Off of that, he's able to throw the breaking ball. Here's the 0-1. Check swing, little tapper. Bell has it, and he'll flip underhanded to Morrison to get the out. So there's one out, and here comes the left-handed hitting first baseman, Brandon Belt. 27,123
have been entertained tonight.
Brandon Belt living up to his name. Into center field, and the Giants are a run closer, and now the tying run comes to the plate. Gregor Blanco. Marlins Live follows our telecast. It's brought to you by Checkers. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. Marlins getting a big night from the bottom of the order. Giancarlo Stanton, another home run. Ozzie Guillen would just like them to be able to talk about a win. And a strike to Blanco.
You mentioned the crowd, Rich. I've noticed that it's really neat to see when the game ends and the crowd filtering out of Marlins Park. They always open the roof, and a lot of the people just kind of stand and watch. They've never seen that before from this vantage point.
Bell gets 2 strikes, and it's 0-2.
That's a nice pitch, too.
Blanco's been a pain in the neck for everybody wearing a Marlin uniform that has stood on that mound in this series. He's 2 for 4 tonight. He was 2 for 3 last night. He scored 4 runs in the series. Buck knocks it down. Belt's going nowhere. Mets game is a final. The Mets improved to 25-21. The Marlins would like to join them. They need a couple more outs here in the 9th inning. The Mets beat the Padres 6-1. Phillies trail the Cardinals 3-2, bottom 6. Nationals 7-3 over the Braves, bottom 8 in Atlanta.
The Atlanta Braves have run on hard times right now. If they lose tonight, that'll be their 5th loss in a row.
Two changeup, and it's fouled into the seats.
Talk about a ball club that's banging out a lot of hits. 15 hits for the Giants last night. 13 hits so far tonight.
Yeah, they've almost doubled up the Marlins in the hit column. And these next 2 hitters important for Bell to get. If he can get Blanco and Crawford, he doesn't have to face Cabrera and Posey.
Boy, this guy's been a tough out. Fouling off a lot of pitches.
It's amazing how a guy like Blanco can go all of last year and not play in the big leagues. He was at AAA for the Royals and the Nationals. He was in Kansas City in 2010. Parts of 4 years in the big leagues with Atlanta. Bell's 2-2.
He's a career .258 hitter. He's been a good extra outfielder with the teams he's been with.
Two coming. Liner down the line, and it's fair, and it's into the corner, and it's picked up by Coughlin. Belt will stop at third, and the Giants now have runners at second and at third with 1 out. Here comes Crawford, and Ozzie Guillen's coming out, and he's going to the bullpen. Guillen is going to Steve Cishek to close this game.
Boy, not an easy task for Cishek. 2 runs, but the tying runs in scoring position for the Giants. Location, location, location wasn't there for Bell tonight.
And here comes Cishek. He still has 2 outs to get. One out. Heath Bell coming in with a 3-run lead. Gave up a double to Joaquin Arias. He got Ryan Theriot to tap out, but Brandon Belt a solid single to center. And Gregor Blanco, his 3rd hit of the night, another double. And Isaac Guillen pulls Bell out of the game, and here is Steve Cishek. He gets Brandon Crawford, who is 2 for 4, and on deck is Melky Cabrera, the hottest hitter on the planet.
Well, and you and I talked about it last inning, about the importance of getting some outs so you wouldn't have to face these guys in this situation, and it's come down to this.
Infield is back. Giants have a lot of speed in the trail runner, the tying run at second, and that's Blanco. Belt is at third base. There's a look at Brandon Belt. And there's Blanco. Crawford 3 hits in this series, 2 singles in this one. Both were against JJ. Goes out to the first pitch, fly ball left field. Back goes Coghlan. Both runners are tagging. Coghlan makes the catch. Holding it second is Blanco. Scoring is Belt. I think if Blanco could rethink that again, he may have tried it, but he's still in scoring position.
Yeah,
he didn't want to finish the game at third base.
Yeah, especially with Melky Cabrera stepping in, too. And I like the way Chris Coghlan, even though he's backpedaling a little bit, he gave it a little bit of his former infield drills and got rid of the ball quickly to get it back in.
Marlins are going to call timeout on the infield. Randy St. Clair's coming out to talk to Steve Cishek.
There's a couple of things to think about here, too. You probably, and you don't like to walk the potential go-ahead run on. But first base is open. And you might think about it with Melky Cabrera. Buster Posey's hot, though, too. But at least you have the righty-righty matchup with Cishek and Posey.
Well, all Melky Cabrera has done tonight is homer and triple and line out hard twice. So he has barreled up everything he has seen, not only tonight, but in this series. He had 3 hits last night. He's the hottest hitter on the planet. He has the highest batting average in the big leagues in May. He has the most hits in the month of May, 42. He has the most hits in the majors, 69. And so we'll see what Miami does here. Joey Cora on the rail.
And it's almost, Rich, if you miss with a couple of pitches early, then you go ahead and put him on.
looks like they're going to at least open the at-bat by pitching to him. Infield, deep, outfield, not too deep. Cishek to the plate. Breaking ball comes in the back door for a strike.
Nice little backdoor action. That was not what Melky Cabrera was looking for. Beauty.
Let's see what he gets. 0-1. Buck set up outside and Cishek missed outside.
Trust me, though, a guy as hot as Cabrera is 0-1, now 1-1, doesn't mean a thing. Even when he gets 2 strikes on him.
Tying runs in scoring position, 2 outs in the ninth. 1-1 pitch. The breaking ball again, but it's low, and now you have to be careful with a count 2-1.
But I still think you don't have to give in.
Cishek has come up big in spots just like this. The 2-1. In fact, twice on that West Coast swing in which the Marlins swept the Giants and the Padres, Cishek came in to hold things together in games that Heath Bell struggled in.
That was an interesting selection there. That was a 2-1 changeup. Going back outside.
And he got a strike on the breaking ball. Now look, that's the 2 pitches. That one breaking ball, he's had 2 strikes on.
So again, he's not giving in. He's going to try to make a perfect pitch right here.
Crowd on their feet. 3-2 to Melky Cabrera. He got him! Cishek strikes out Cabrera.
There's the perfect pitch.
Ball game, and the Marlins win it. 7-6. What a sequence from the youngster, Steve Cishek. The backdoor breaking ball, he used it for all 3 called strikes. And the bat didn't leave the shoulder of Melky Cabrera, the hottest hitter on the planet.
That sign said it all. That was an awesome display from Steve Cishek. Great pitches. He was just trying to make perfect pitches. First base was open. If he missed, he'd go after Posey. He made 3 perfect pitches.
And you see one of the first guys out there to greet him was Heath Bell. Wow. Steve Cishek shuts the door. The Marlins win a wild one. We'll wrap it up after this.